Despite calls to clean house, the Michigan State University Board of Trustees appear to have no intention of resigning in the wake of the Larry Nassar fallout.
But one lawmaker wants voters to make that decision for them and the two other public universities in our state.
24-Hour News 8's Lindsay McComal is in studio now after researching the newest legislation.
Well, Brian and Marley, right now Wayne State, U of M, and MSU are the only public universities in Michigan that elect their board through a general election. And if Representative Jim Lauer gets his way, those boards will be eliminated by the end of this year. He said he's been working on this legislation since before the Nassar fallout began, but thinks the timing could not be better.
The current boards would be eliminated, so everybody who's on the MSU board would be eliminated.
State Representative Jim Lauer wants to let voters decide whether the boards at MSU, U of M, and Wayne State should join the rest of Michigan's public universities and have the governor appoint board members rather than be listed on the bottom of our ballots.
The average voter doesn't really know. They just, go with whatever party they're part of or kind of randomly bubble in. And it's not a high-profile election where there's a lot of vetting and thought that goes into it.
If the Michigan House and Senate approves his resolution by a 2/3 vote, voters will then decide in November whether or not they want to transition to the other system. He believes the universities that have a governor-appointed board are happier with their leadership.
The appointment system works well and that the people that are on those boards are very qualified and went through a thorough background check and vetting process. So I think they're pretty happy with the system.
The other hope is that this will make those boards less political because it's all based on merit. I took a look at followthemoney.org to see what current trustees at Michigan State University have spent in political donations since being elected. Vice Chairman Joel Ferguson is the longest-serving trustee and has made the most donations over the years with more than $95,000. Trustee Diane Byram, who spent more than a decade working in Lansing, including as the Michigan House Democratic leader, comes in second with more than $51,900 since joining the board in 2008. Trustee Melanie Foster has contributed more than $43,000. Former football coach turned trustee George Perlis has given more than $29,500. Trustee Brian Masalam comes in at more than $23,500, while Chairman Brian Breslin, Trustee Dan Kelly, and Trustee Mitch Lyons are all below $10,000 in political donations. The representative also said that he hasn't looked at the current boards and their political donations when going through all of this. He's simply acting on what his own constituents in District 70 have brought to his attention. And meanwhile, today, Governor Rick Snyder weighed in on whether or not he'll get involved with the fallout at Michigan State, but he was very cryptic about it.
I think we all agree we want to see thorough and complete investigations, get to the bottom of the issues, get MSU on a positive path again. It's a world-class institution. And things went terribly wrong. I think there are a handful of other things, at least, that we're likely to announce that we'll be working on. And the announcement time frame is probably in about the next 2 to 3 weeks.
And Governor Snyder also talked about the multiple and simultaneous investigations that are going on right now into Michigan State. He says he hopes that expectations can all be on the same page so there won't end up being any conflicting recommendations or outcomes from those different investigations.